Welcome everyone, welcome to VegFest, and you are about to be entertained. This is going to be a good one, so welcome. I would like to introduce Christine Waltermyer from the Natural Kitchen School. So Christine, take it away.
All right, so it's great to be here. It's my first time at the Bethlehem VegFest. I'm very excited. I am the author of The Natural Vegan Kitchen. It's an all-vegan cookbook, and I'm also the founder and director of the Natural Kitchen Cooking School. We're an all-vegan cooking school. We offer an 8-month chef training program located in both Manhattan, and we also have a chef training program in the Princeton, New Jersey area. Today we're making a forbidden black rice. This is a forbidden rice. It sounds exotic, and that's because it is. It's delicious. It has a nice nutty flavor. It's literally, it's a black rice. It's kind of got this beautiful ebony purplish color when it cooks up. It's very high in iron, and Lotus Foods Company is one of my favorite companies as far as rice goes. They are just phenomenal. And what I really like about Lotus Foods is that they are very environmentally sensitive. All of you here are interested in a plant-based diet, so you're probably aware how a plant-based diet helps the environment, but I was never aware of how the cultivation of rice uses so much water, and it even creates methane gases. So it's not always the greatest for the environment. However, Lotus Foods is a company that's very progressive as far as they are producing SRI rice. So that is a special kind of rice that helps to reduce the amount of water by 50%. It also saves up to 90% of the seeds that are used in planting the rice. You can read more in your brochure, but they're a company that really supports the farmers as well, because normally when women harvest rice, they're in water up to their necks all day, and they experience health problems because of this. So this is great because they don't have to flood the field so much. So it's great for the environment, it's great for your health as well, and they have a really nice variety. I have some different types you can check out later, but we have some Madagascar pink rice. We have some organic brown Mekong flour rice. You know, these are all really nice, exotic. A jasmine rice. This one's really nice. It's a jade pearl rice grown in California. It's got this nice light green color. It can be really beautiful if you're making vegetarian sushi. What else? We have some carnaroli rice. This is a really nice one. You can use it more for like a risotto or a rice pudding. It cooks up beautifully. And then we also have a more of a white Mekong flour rice. And these all cook up nice and quickly. And I have black rice that I cooked up today, the forbidden rice. And I cook this at a ratio of about 1 to 2. I do use a little bit more water than they call for in the packs just because I like my rice a little softer. And I cooked it for about 50 minutes or so. But these do cook in, 30 to 40 minutes. Again, I like my rice a little softer, so I cooked it a little bit longer. And what we're going to do is we're going to transform this cooked rice into a delicious fried rice. What I often recommend when you're cooking with beans and grains is to really make enough for several days, because then you're not cooking every day. You can make a big batch and then creatively reinvent it. So today we're going to make fried rice, but you could also use this same rice to make a nice breakfast porridge with a little bit of cinnamon and some currants or raisins. Add whatever spices or dried fruits you like, a little bit of almond milk. You could also make it into a pudding if you add a little maple syrup and make it sweeter. You can make this into a really cool looking sushi if you roll it up with some veggies in the center and some nori seaweed. So there's lots of ways that you can creatively reinvent these grains. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get cooking, and we're going to heat up. I have a stainless steel wok here. Any wok will work, or even if you don't have a wok, you can use at home just a good, stainless steel fry pan. And I'm going to heat up my sesame oil. That gives it kind of that classic Asian flavor. Okay, so I'm going to saute some onion. Got lots of onion going on here. And to give it, again, that nice Asian flavor, I've got some minced ginger and garlic. We're going to add that. Okay, so this really, I like to add colorful veggies when I'm making this black rice because it really offsets that nice dark purplish ebony color beautifully. So I'm just going to add a little pinch of salt here just to help sweat the onions. And of course, I always consider my recipes flexible. I feel like, you know what, whatever, vegetables you like, instead of having peas or red pepper, you could always substitute edamame. You could substitute sugar snap peas, green beans. For the red, you could even do some red radish or some grated beet if you like. So that's where I always think of recipes as a launch pad for your imagination and to get creative and make it your own. Okay, so these are the vegetables that we're including today. We've got the onion sauteing over there. We've got a little bit of cut up carrots and diced carrot. We have some corn, previously frozen organic corn. I always stress organic when it comes to corn so that you're not getting the genetically modified. And that's another nice thing about the Lotus Foods rices as well. You know, they're organic, all sustainably grown, so they're just wonderful. And then we've also got some red pepper, peas, you know, it's really colorful and pretty. So it's going to come together nicely. And of course you can do this with a different array of rices. You can do this with the red rice, you can do it with the bamboo infused rice as well. All right, I think I need a little more heat here. Okay, and we're going to go ahead and add our carrot. You want to work with, you know, your onion and your garlic and the ginger first, and then you want to add your carrot so that it softens. It's a harder vegetable, it needs that time to soften. Okay. So while we're waiting for this to soften, I just want to kind of walk through again some of those benefits of the Lotus Foods rice. SRI stands for System of Rice Intensification, and as I was saying, it reduces the water that you use to grow rice by 50%, 90% less seeds, and no agrochemicals, so it increases the yields by 100%. So this is really cream of the crop rice, so to speak. And so yeah, so the livelihoods of the farmers, they don't have to deal with, you know, those conditions of the pesticides and being up to their necks in water, and the reduced greenhouse gas emissions, which I never thought of with rice. That's wonderful as well. And just biodiversity. You know, these are you know, different strains of rice that you won't find just anywhere. So that's really wonderful. And they even show you a little picture of the, you know, the farmers and their unique system of creating a grid in the soil to separate the seeds. Normally, with rice cultivation, they throw the seeds in the paddies, and you've probably seen these marshy paddies, whereas this is a very different system that's very cutting edge. So, and the whole, you know, line of all the different rices they offer are here. Now, generally you'll find these in your health food store, so, you know, if you tend to shop at your local natural foods market, that's where you can find them. Okay, any questions about the Lotus Foods rices? I just can't say enough about them, they're great. Okay, so my onions and my garlic and ginger and carrots are softening over here. I want to get kind of a caramelization going. That aroma is really nice. At this point, I'm going to go ahead and add my red pepper. You know, of course, if you're into, you know, having lighter foods that are less cooked in the summertime, you could add all of these vegetables in a raw form and create more of like a crunchy, nice rice salad. That would work too. Although the onion, I like to kind of take the edge off onion. Onion, when it's raw, can have like a really strong pungency that's a little overpowering. So what I do is I add an acid, like lemon juice or a little bit of vinegar, a little bit of salt, and I let that sit for 30 minutes, like with red onion, for example, just to kind of, you know, let it release its juices, and so it's a little more mild and actually brings out a sweetness when you add to the salad. Okay. So while we're waiting for that to soften, I just want to mention a little bit more about our school. So we have an 8-month chef training program, and it begins in October. We still have room in that program if anyone's interested. And it runs the 8 months, and people take our program to either become personal chefs or cooking instructors or just to learn how to cook healthy for their own families. So it's a really exciting program, and we'd love to have you if you want to join us. Okay, so we're just sauteing away here, and we're going to go ahead and add our corn and peas, and soon we're going to add the rice. So you can see, once you have your rice cooked, you know, that takes the longest amount of time. Once you have that out of the way, this really comes together quickly. This is like a 5 or 10 minute meal. And then you can have leftovers. You can take them for lunch the next day. We're going to garnish this with a little bit of roasted peanuts and a little bit of scallions. It really adds a nice finishing touch. Now, of course, if you wanted to add protein here, what can you add for a vegan protein to this rice? Tofu, what else? Beans, seitan, that's a great, it's wheat meat. It's a meat substitute that's made out of wheat gluten. That's a nice one. Wheat meat, right? Isn't that yummy? Tempeh, that's a fermented soy food. It's kind of got a more chewy texture than tofu. They say it's really easy to digest because it is fermented. And you can also add nuts. You know, you can add chopped up Brazil nuts, cashews. We're adding a little bit of peanuts today for protein. And I just want to say that all these rices, the Lotus Foods rices, are also gluten-free. So that's great for anyone on a gluten-free, wheat-free diet. Okay, oh, thank you. Wonderful. Okay, so here's our garnish, a little bit of scallions. That's going to add a nice little pungency to it, and a little bit of peanuts. The pungency of onions and scallions are great for weight loss. So for anyone who's looking to maintain a healthy weight, those are your best friends. Add in the onions, the scallions, the leeks, garlic, and they'll rev up your metabolism. Okay. Here we go. We're adding the cooked black rice. Okay, so the portions are basically, you know, if you're making a single batch, you'd want to use 3 cups of cooked rice. Usually that's 1 cup of uncooked rice. Okay, so we're stirring this together. And you'll see when this comes around your little sample plates that it really just has nice visual beauty. Okay, so now what we're going to do to add a little flavor is we're going to add some gluten-free, wheat-free, organic tamari. This is a high-quality soy sauce. It might look like a lot, but it's a big batch, so. And of course, you can vary it to your taste buds. That's the great thing about doing your own cooking at home. You can make it a little more salty or less salty depending on your taste buds. Okay, so we have little plates here for sampling out, and I'm going to show you a little fun trick that you might already know about grains, but it's just sort of a little presentation. It's all about the presentation, right? We eat with our eyes first. Okay, so I'm just going to take a little bit of this cooked rice. And I'm putting it into a measuring cup, packing it in there to take on the shape of the cup. And then you just simply invert it onto a plate, and then you get that nice little tower going. Okay, and then you can do your little scallions, just a few little peanuts, and voila, you've got this beautiful little presentation that can complement your meals. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this demo and that you'll go out and try the Lotus Foods rices and have fun at the festival today.